Welcome back to my channel. I am the internet's Danny Buckler. Here we discuss Zen, Buddhism, Taoism, chaos magic, Robert Anton Wilson, hypnosis, ritual magic, just weird ideas and things that I just happen to find interesting. And if you find them interesting, come join my community by hitting subscribe. This video, you may have noticed if you are a subscriber, there's not been many videos this month. Why? For precisely the same reason that you've done nothing. It's January. At least it is at the time of recording. It's a grim old month. You know, the New Year's resolutions have worn off. So what I thought I'd do is an experiment in real time. If it works, I'll upload it. If it doesn't, I won't. I am going to explore something. David Nichtern, the Buddhist meditation teacher. You may have heard of him from Duncan Trussell's The Midnight Gospel. Anyway, he's spoken about this concept of first thought, best thought. You sit, you do your meditation. When you open your eyes, you hit Control-Alt-Delete. While you're meditating, you're not thinking about anything. When you come back, first thought, best thought. You've cleared the pipes and there's good stuff bubbling up from the subconscious, the seat of all creativity. I do that a lot. And I thought I'd actually do it today in real time. So in a minute, I'm going to do my practice. I'm going to sit for half an hour. Today I'll be doing Raja Yoga because I'm on a slightly Raja Yoga tip at the moment. And then I'm going to do first thought, best thought. Whatever comes out, comes out. You'll get it. Stream of consciousness. If you've watched this far, which is unlikely given the attention span of the average YouTube viewer, but if you're still here, assume that something good came up because I wouldn't upload it otherwise. And so it'll be worth it. And if nothing good has come up, I won't upload this. You won't even see it. So this whole part is pointless. I will see what will be for me 1.5 hour. What will be for you, that. And we're back in the room. Right, mates. How are you? Let me just turn that off. Adjust myself. So that was beautiful. What a gift to be able to do that. I was practicing Raja Yoga, which is a concentration practice. I'm not here. Sorry, give me a second to sort of put myself back together. It's a concentration practice. And in this particular instance, I was concentrating on a point here. And the idea of concentration practice is basically, essentially you choose an object, you concentrate upon it. And then, and you hold that concentration, the mind drifts off, you bring it back, it drifts off, you bring it back. And eventually the mind settles. And then all there is awareness and the object and nothing else. And then, which is beautiful, which is peaceful, which is calm and clear. But then if you hold it for longer than I just did, you can drift into a state called Samadhi, where the observer and the object collapse into each other. And then there is literally nothing, and that is as deep as you can get. You can't even get there on drugs. That's really deep. It takes me about an hour to hit that, which is not what I've just done now. This was an interesting sit because obviously I'm making this video. So while I was sitting doing the practice, obviously there was a part of my brain that normally would have shut off that didn't. I noticed that it stayed turned on. It's like a little bit like that voice, when you know you've got to be up in the morning. So part of your awareness stays awake and won't let you sleep, even though that's all you need. If it would just piss off and let you sleep for 4 hours, you'd be fine. But it won't. It's you've got to be up in 2 hours for that flight. I had a sort of small version of that for the first 15 minutes. I was sitting and concentrating and there was a voice going, oh, this video is going to be good. You know, the ego coming into it. I bet you're going to get some profound insights for this video you're making, which kept me out of it. That was interesting. But I did hit it 15 minutes in. Didn't go all the way into Samadhi, but definitely got into this beautiful flow groove. The nice thing about concentration practices is they can set you up for the day. It's the best one to do in the morning. The practices tend to fall into two categories, concentration and awareness. Concentration is the narrowing of attention down to one object and sticking with it, be that your breath, a mantra, a casino, an object out there, my wooden duck I sometimes use, Mr. Mushin over there. Awareness practices are when you let go, you surrender, you allow whatever there is to just arise and do whatever it wilt, and you sit and you watch it. And then you get insights into life. That tends to be what happens. Concentration practices give you states of mind, states of being. And like all states, they wear off. But when you're in them, they're beautiful, they leave a residue. Opening up to awareness, that leads to insight into what? Into life, into this, into what's going on around us, into whatever you're going through. And ultimately insight into the nature of things, the fact that nothing is permanent, that nothing lasts, that everything arises and passes away in this wonderful field of which we are a part, all of us. And awareness type practices can also lead you to the non-dual, the realization that there is nothing but this. It is just one thing happening. There are individuals. You've got your mates that you talk to. They're separate from you, but on one level. But on another level, you're one consciousness experiencing itself. You're literally, when you're talking to a friend, you're having a conversation with yourself. When you're listening to a teacher, you're actually teaching yourself, because at that level of awareness, it's one happening. You and the teacher are one thing talking to itself. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. This particular practice, when I learned it, I didn't know I was learning Raja Yoga. When I learned it, years ago I started doing this. It was one of the very first ones I ever learned. I'd have been about 15. It was reading about Colin Wilson, who, the author of The Outsider and The Occult and various other wonderful books. And some great science fiction stuff too. He's got some great takes on the thing. And he talked about his battles with depression and how he beat it with meditation, and the method he described, that I didn't realise then was Raja Yoga, was to sit cross-legged with an erect spine, upright, good posture, to hold it, not a slouchy, listening to an app, decent posture. And he concentrated, as I just have been here, he just concentrated his mind on, for want of a better term, the third eye, but basically this location in space. And he would do it for half an hour every morning, and he described it as pulling the troops together. When he was depressed, he'd get into a very sloppy state of mind, just, in a very sloppy way of being. But when he sat and concentrated, he pulled it all together to one point. And then he sort of popped into a positive state. After about half an hour of that, he would pop into a flow state, into a peak experience. He talks about those a lot. And that's what drew me to that. So I started doing it for exactly the same reasons. Depressed young man, didn't want to be. And it worked. It was like taking a pill. It would pull you together. You'd pop into a good state of mind and you could function. And I found out this is in fact the essential practice of Raja Yoga. If you want a tutorial on this, there's some great ones out there, but I'll even do you one if enough people get in the comments and ask. I don't mind doing that at all. But if you do me the service of hitting subscribe and hitting like. Yeah, so right now I feel like I'm been pulled back together. This is an interesting experiment. I'm going to do more videos of this nature, different practices, and explore their effects. That could be a good little series on here. It's a perfect time for concentration practices, because January we all feel mumpy. It's that awful, the tax bill, the weather's shit. If you've got SAD, you really get it bad in January. And in the UK, it's been a very dark winter. It's not been a particularly cold one, apart from the cold snap, but it has been dark. I've never seen such thick grey clouds in my entire life, and that wears on a man. So the ability to be able to sit and wake up to that, and be able to sit, concentrate, gather all the troops up, get into a groove with it, and then for half an hour, 45 minutes. 45 minutes, I did half an hour just now. 45 minutes is really the ideal. Awful lot though, if you're starting out, don't start off with that. You want to start low and increase how long you can do it for. Give yourself a bit of a time to make those connections in your neurology when it comes to concentration stuff. And then you can get into some very blissful, very wonderful states. In Buddhism, they're called jhanas. I'll do another video just on those, because I was very interested in the jhanas and I wanted to explore them an awful lot. And I did. I've got a meditation mate. He ran a website, and he's fascinating dude. The only reason I'm not saying his name is he likes his privacy, but a fascinating dude, a master meditator. And he really went into the jhanas and all that stuff. And he could achieve some incredible things. And yeah, I got into that as well. But now it's more about, I've let that go, because the jhanas have a whole classification system. You can get lost in it, and then next thing you know, you can't see the wood for the trees. And I'm more interested in the lived experience. I don't care where I sit on some chart that somebody on the Dharma Overground worked out. I just want to live and experience. And I managed to hit, according to the maps in the various books and the various teachings, I managed to hit the very higher levels of the jhanas. But now I just go for samadhi. I just sit and I concentrate, and it happens or it doesn't. And that's the attitude, by the way. It happens or it doesn't. If it doesn't happen, it's not wasted time. If it doesn't happen, it's not wasted time. But if you really sit and get into concentration stuff, it will happen. And when it does, oh, it's so profound. So profound. Everything kind of ceases. It is one of the deepest states you can attain to. And it doesn't require any substance. It just requires discipline and the willingness to practice and the willingness to surrender and the willingness to do it. So I can recommend concentration practice very, very highly, especially at this time of year. And if anyone wants an instructional, you let Buckles know. It seems to get the two halves of the brain talking to each other in that deep place, if you know what I mean by that. You know, the right brain, the left brain are constantly communicating. They're normally doing it up front where you can hear it and it's really noisy. But when you get very deep into concentration, they're doing it at a deeper non-verbal level. It's like this kind of wonderful sensation, wonderful, peaceful clarity, wonderful clarity in which everything is occurring. I feel amazing right now. I was a little bit manic when I sat down, and I'm not as blissed out as I would have been if I weren't making this, but that was a good sit. So, meditation musings, that's what that is. I might do some more of these type of videos and go into more detail on what I've touched on here. If you would like that, ask in the comments. Just put a little comment. Oh, Danny, you mentioned that in your video. We'd like a little bit more on that, please. Or could you go more into this? Or whatever you want. Just ask, mate. I'm easy. I've got nothing but time. Happy New Year. It's not too late. Be well, my friends. Wishing you a blissful time, and I'll see you on my next... I'll even see you. As well as see you, I'll see you on my next video.